I want to welcome the GMs and the wives, the godly men and the warm, inviting, feminine, empathetic women out there. Why do men talk bad about you to women when you're a solid, disciplined man? You might be somebody that, as a man, you're respectable, you're honorable, you have principles, you have values, and you don't steer away from those things. And yet, for some reason, it's like as soon as you start to show and demonstrate improvement and just a sense of fulfillment in your life, all of a sudden, the creeper haters come out of the woodworks and they just start talking shit about you to specifically in this video we're going to talk about how they talk about you with women, but really generally speaking. But lately I've seen this a lot where I haven't seen this for quite some time actually. And at the gym there's been some people that you can tell that they're they're looking at you, they're kind of whispering to the other people. They're out in the community, they see you, you're working away, you're doing your thing. They're looking at you, they're whispering, they'll look back at you, they'll look away, and then when you look at them dead in the eye and just kind of give them this like, what's up? Something troubling you? Kind of a vibe. And all of a sudden they don't got nothing to say. Sure, they can say it to other people, but they can't say it to your face, right? It's unbelievable sometimes, but at the other times, this is just going to be what happens when you start to really demonstrate that you are who you say you are. You are actually somebody that is building your life the way that you want it to be built. And women are starting to notice you. And now that the women are noticing you, those same men that supposedly had your back, now they're going to talk bad about you to the women. And don't even stress about that, because there are sometimes women like that kind of guy that doesn't necessarily have the best reputation, especially the good women. It's not like a good woman is going to be able to discern whether or not what she's being told is worthy of being heard or not. And so a good woman is going to understand this. So don't even stress about these people destroying your reputation or anything like that, because the right people are going to know who you are and they're going to see who you are. Your light is not going to be dimmed just because somebody else tries to shed their mud or their dirt on you. What's the saying? In order for a flower to grow, there has to be some dirt thrown on it first, something like that. And so this is something that is going to be paramount to your overall mindset going forward as well, in dealing with the haters. Because I was never this guy that would hate on men that I found to be like they were the select men in the community. They were the ones getting the attention from women. And I never was like a hater of these people. I did envy them and I was a bit jealous of them, but only because I didn't know how they were doing it. I didn't know how, and I wanted to know how. Like, what are they doing that's so different from this other person? Because there's this guy who doesn't really look like he's the most attractive man in the world, and yet he's getting all of the freaking women. Like, he doesn't even talk too well to them. Like, he doesn't have this really suave way about his being. Like, he doesn't have a mouthpiece. What is going on? Well, what was going on was just his presence, his masculinity. And I didn't know that at the time. And I don't think a lot of men can really discern what is attractive about other men to women. Ultimately, women are just going to be able to pick up on this energy that a man has far more than men, because women feel and then they think, and men think and then they feel. So as a man, it's not going to register to you. You might look at this guy and think, that motherfucker's a soy boy, and yet he's getting all of the women. Well, what's going on? Like, what is really going on here? he actually might not be a soul boy. He just might be somebody that is really in his masculine presence, and you're probably projecting a little bit onto of the insecurity that you have onto them. And the insecurity thing I want to address as well, because acknowledging your own insecurities is going to, and your vulnerabilities, is ultimately going to be the greatest way to move in life with courage. Vulnerability, when it does not directly impact other people, is when you're going to be the strongest. And women will always say they want an emotional man or a vulnerable man, whatever. They do and they don't. They want an emotionally intelligent man that is capable of being direct about what his wants and needs are without being excessively controlling or needy. That's the caveat. So women in general, when they see that you have this calm, cool, collected energy about you, you're just kind of, I don't like the word vibing, but you're just kind of vibing. You're just playing it cool. You're going with the flow. You're being who you are. You're not necessarily trying to be anybody that you're not. You're not necessarily trying to be something that you, like something excessive that you aren't either. You're just being who you are. Women will pick up on this energy. They will pick up on this, and they find it very arousing. And especially, I found that me just knowing who I am and me being able to tell women who I am, for some reason, just that in of itself is a turn on for them. Why? Because they know that if you know who you are, you're going to be the solid rock down the line so that she can crash into the mountain that you are with her emotional waves, and the mountain isn't going to go anywhere. So she wants the ability to be able to crash into the mountain. That's the whole point of tests, right? And shit tests. It's the whole point of it. But it's not necessarily it's not a bad thing, these shit tests. But if it goes over a certain line, then that's when you have to draw the line. But, you know, there's been women in the past that have just not necessarily played their part. And they went out and they messed up. And when they wanted to come back, you know, I kind of looked at them, shrugged, shaked my head no, and moved on. And that made them want to go even harder. And when they did, when they started to try to get my attention even more, all of these other men started to notice. They started to notice that there's women that are trying to get this guy. They're staring at him. They're talking about him. You know, you might even hear stuff like, "Oh, hey, Jane, here comes your boyfriend." Like, you might hear that kind of stuff as you walk by or whatever. You might hear like, just how good you look. They'll make really passive. Women will make these really passive comments. They're all indirect. They're all not going to be direct with you. But that's their way of showing that they're noticing you. So then you have, on the flip side, when this happens, the men that might try to damage your reputation. They're just not disciplined. They're not solidified in who they are. When you're solidified in who you are, you know what you're about, you know what you're wanting to get out of this life, you know what you're willing to do for this life. You're willing to fight, you're willing to put in the effort. A lot of men don't know how to handle that because they don't know what that's like themselves. And I'm not trying to say that these men are not they're not less of a human being, but what I'm saying is that you've put yourself into a position in which you now have a selection of women, a pool of women that you're able to choose from at will, and whether or not you do is entirely, like, it's on your time now. Like the tables have turned. You are, you're basically the hot 21-year-old blonde chick when you become a refined, respectable, honorable man that's disciplined and solid down the line. And I gotta tell you guys, it just gets better and better. Like it really does. Every now and again, I kind of think to myself, like, you know, maybe I ought to really capitalize on my options at this point, and maybe I really need to simply just choose one, because like I'm at a point in my life where I'm ready to start having a family. I'm ready to start having kids. I want to proceed with this next step of life. Nearly a third of my life is complete, roughly speaking. And I've grown enough to where I know I'm ready for this. I know that I'm ready for this next step. But I look out and I see all of the women that are not ready for this, and all of the men that are hating on you for being ready. And it's just like, you almost sometimes don't even want to play a part in that game at all. And you want to just stay focused on yourself, because you know that if you put in another 5 to 10 years worth of hard work and grinding and consistency, you're actually going to be around people where they know that there's enough pie to eat for everybody. They know that they've been through the similar kinds of things that you have. So they have no quarrel with any other person's success. They want to see people successful. They want to see people doing well. They want to see people living happy, healthy lives. A lot of people that are just not ready for that are going to try to slow you down, and they're going to try to ensure that your reputation is damaged because you're actually just doing the work. And so here's to all of the people, men specifically here, that are actually putting in the grind, putting in the work, staying consistent, and trusting that down the line, you're actually going to get what you deserve. You know, I'm very patient. Even though I have these thoughts sometimes, I'm a very patient individual, and I understand what I'm worth, and I understand what caliber of woman I'm able to not only just attain, but also keep. And I'm also understanding the level in which I need to be at myself in order to be and stay that kind of person. Because when you're at the top in your community, you have to make sure that in order to stay there, you have to be like, how do I say this? What's a good metaphor? The best way that I can think about it is something that Arnold Schwarzenegger has said. When it was in like Pumping Iron or something, when they're laying down on the grass and somebody says to Arnold that the wolf that is hungry, that and is climbing to the top, is hungrier than the wolf at the top. And then Arnold says something like, well, yeah, but the one at the top, when he wants the food, it's just there. And in order to stay that top dog, in order to stay that top wolf that eats the dogs, you have to make sure that you are hitting your P's and Q's, you're dotting your I's, you're crossing your T's every single day. It's not even about going super hardcore every single day. It's just about maintaining a consistent lifestyle that you are trying to build into something more down the line. So with that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful, and until next time, peace be with you.